I do not feel great today. Honestly, I feel like absolute trash. But I had to turn on the camera anyway. Why? I guess that's what separates the people who make it from the people who don't.
My name is Jimmy. I'm just a 38-year-old guy from Sweden, pursuing a career in music and trying to turn this lifelong passion of mine into a full-time job. The only catch is, I'm doing it while raising 3 kids and battling severe chronic illness. Let's get it.
First off, you saw the intro. If my energy is a little off today, you know why. I feel horrible today. I'm in a lot of pain and I am extremely exhausted, but I'm gonna shift the focus from that to why I pressed record today and why it's important to keep going even when you don't feel like it. Since I started putting myself out there more, making these videos, putting more songs out, posting on social media, I used to always wait for the right time, and I always felt like I needed to feel it and be in the right vibe, or I needed something to get me going. I needed inspiration or motivation, but all that did was hold me back. So no matter how hard it gets, until the day comes where I really, literally cannot do this. Like today, I feel so bad and so sick that using this energy to do this video is making it hard for me to not get emotional, and it's hard to focus on what I'm gonna say, and I have a hard time adjusting to the lighting and just moving in general. And it like being in this amount of pain affects the cognitive functions, the memory, and I can't execute the way I usually can. But now that I have started recording, and I am gonna finish this video no matter how long it takes, no matter how it turns out, I'm gonna post this video. But the feeling I have of needing to hold myself accountable and to keep going no matter what, no matter how it looks, how it sounds, no matter how I feel, that's connected to the purpose I've been talking about before. And not only that, but I need to do it for me so I can push myself even further, because today, no matter how the rest of the day turns out, no matter how this week turns out, I'm gonna have this video. I started recording this video, I finished it, and I posted it, and I will always have this video. I can go back to this video on days that are even worse, or on days when I'm feeling better, which is also a struggle, because when I feel a little bit better, even though I feel horrible even on the good days, it's such an improvement that I might have 15 things I want to do that day. So then it's a struggle to pull back a little bit, not go too far, and just stay focused. So I can't get too low on the bad days and I can't get too high on the good days. And I don't really have a plan today, but I guess that this only shows the importance of showing up even when you don't feel like it. Because the truth is, most people, and me included, before I felt like I always needed to feel it, I needed a certain vibe, or I needed inspiration or motivation to show up and actually put the work in. And I would do it rarely, and I would half-ass a session. I would not put a video out because it looked a certain way, or I would do a lot of takes on a vocal track or on a video, and I would end up not using it because I overworked it to the point where all the emotion was lost. And if you only show up when you're inspired, you're not going to get anywhere. Like, imagine if you only went to your job when you felt like it. Most people don't feel like going to their job ever. So how would that turn out? Real growth comes from the work you do, even on the days when you feel sick, tired, uninspired, unmotivated. You might have a great idea today, but then you do 5 other things and you lose the spark you had to actually see that idea through and materialize it. And tomorrow, that idea is gone. And even if you have it on paper, it's not here. You don't feel it the way you did. That's why it's important to show up as often as you can, and to also remember that anything is better than nothing. I've seen people talk about exercising this way, like the only bad workout is the one that didn't happen. And it's the same with creativity. The only bad studio session is the one that didn't happen. Because if I don't go to the studio, and this applies to anything you want to do, I'm just talking about the studio because I make music. The only bad studio session is the one that didn't happen, because if it didn't happen, no idea could even stand a chance of coming to life. You have to show up for the ideas to work, to materialize, to become something. And when I speak of success, I do not mean success in one way. To me, I'm already successful because I'm an artist, and not just a musician, but an artist. I make art. And as long as I make art, the more art I make, the more pieces of work I actually finish and see through, the more often I show up, the more I make, the more successful I am. It has nothing to do with the output publicly or the reception of it. That's the business part, but that's a whole other department. I am an artist and I make art. So as long as I improve my habits and I show up as often as possible and capture as many moments and emotions as possible, I get more successful. So when I mention success, that's what it is to me. And success isn't built on motivation. It's built on discipline. If you don't have the system to keep creating or to keep improving, you're gonna fail. I guarantee you that the people you look up to, that you think are successful, whether it's an artist you follow who's a global superstar, or it's your mother who is always happy and always nice to everyone and you look up to her because of that, those people show up even when they don't want to. As a parent, for instance, I show up every day for my kids, even when I feel like this, even when I feel like I can't. So even when you show up and it's not your best performance, or it's not your best day or your best session, you still won. And it's all about stacking those wins. And I've said it before, some of my best work, my best songs, I made them very, very late at night, or on days when I felt like I couldn't do anything. I already mentioned I recorded in bed on my worst days, and I have made some of my best work on those days. And I did not regret showing up, even though it felt like it's not going to work today. It's not going to turn out well. You might as well just go back to sleep. You might as well just watch a movie or whatever. I did not regret showing up. And a lot of people tell me, like, you have to rest. Like, you can't just keep pushing yourself like this. Of course I rest. Today, I am not going to do as much as I do on the days when I feel a little bit better. But it's not about that. We can always do something. And it doesn't always have to be perfect. I can already feel that my energy is off today and I'm struggling to find the words. I'm struggling to keep my emotions leveled. But I don't care. I just have to keep going. I have to do this and I have to keep putting myself out there. And you do as well if you want to be successful. So to conclude this, the days when you don't feel like showing up, when you don't feel like doing the work or being you, those are the most important for the bigger picture. And even small actions compound over time. And if you just keep going and taking those small steps, you will have come a long way in a year or 2 years. And I can promise you, I have been sitting there on New Year's Eve so many times. Oh, damn, I wish I would have done what I said I would do last New Year's. This year is going to be different. Then a year passes by, and then another year passes by, and here we go again. I don't ever want to feel like that, ever again. So yeah, success isn't about doing big things once or twice. It's about doing small things consistently, stacking wins, and doing it even when you didn't feel like it. And I didn't feel like doing this today, but I'm happy I did, because no matter how this turns out, I did it. And that's a win, and I can stack it with my other wins, and tomorrow I could just keep going. So if you have something that you need to show up for today, and you don't feel like it, and you watch this, please take a small step. If you have it in you, take a few more small steps, but just do something today, because you are gonna feel so much better when you look back and you realize that I kept going. Even on the days when I didn't want to, when I couldn't, I did. And you will be proud of yourself, and there's no better feeling than that. Thank you for watching. I'll be back soon. Much love.